Today's operator signal is this. AI rollout now needs an operating system. That is the thread connecting the most useful updates from the last 2 days. The question is not just which model is better. It is whether an organization has the rollout architecture to put AI into real services, physical infrastructure, warehouse operations, and logistics decisions without creating chaos. Start with the public sector. On June 21st, Google Cloud and the Philippines Department of Information and Communications Technology announced a multi-year AI and cybersecurity partnership. And the practical detail is scale. Gemini Enterprise and Google Workspace are being made available through the government's marketplace. More than 50,000 public servants are the starting point, with a plan to reach more than 200,000 over the next 18 months. The use cases are not generic chat. DICT plans to use Gemini Enterprise Agent Platform to build, scale, govern, and optimize agents for citizen services. Think local language help for business setup, community health center schedules, disaster relief guidelines, and internal government research workflows. They also say they will track frequency of use, productivity gains, cost savings, and user satisfaction. That is a serious operator signal. Public sector AI cannot be a pile of experiments. It needs procurement, training, connectors, cyber defense, citizen language coverage, and metrics. The lesson for enterprises is the same. The rollout plan is the product. Second, NVIDIA's June 21st cooling update shows that AI infrastructure is becoming a facilities design problem. NVIDIA says its latest AI servers can run cooling liquid at 45 degrees Celsius or 113 degrees Fahrenheit. The Rubin generation is described as fully liquid cooled, with every chip and networking component cooled in a closed loop. Why does that matter for business operators? Because power and water are now part of AI strategy. NVIDIA says cooling can represent up to 40% of data center electricity use, and that a 50 megawatt hyperscale facility could save more than $4 million a year in cooling related energy and water costs by moving to liquid cooled infrastructure. In favorable climates, the company says conventional cooling tower water use can move from roughly 2.6 million gallons per megawatt per year to near zero. The practical takeaway is not problem solved. Geography, retrofits, economics, and power generation still matter. The takeaway is that AI capacity planning now includes thermal design, site selection, utility strategy, and life cycle cost. Compute is no longer just a cloud line item. It is physical plant design. Third, look at warehouse operations. On June 22nd, J. Elephant announced a strategic investment and partnership with Geek to expand pallet warehouse automation. The specific operator signal is retrofitability. Their vertical pallet robot approach is positioned for low infrastructure automation, 4 to 11 meter storage and retrieval, ultra-narrow aisles, zone-by-zone deployment, and no production downtime. And that's important because most warehouses are not greenfield buildings designed around automation from day one. They are brownfield operations with legacy layouts, real labor constraints, and limited appetite for long shutdowns. The partnership also gives J. Elephant access to Geek Plus's global sales, deployment, and service network across more than 40 countries. In other words, adoption depends on deployment capacity, not just robot capability. Fourth, Magaya and Adelante SCM released research on freight forwarders and customs brokers. The numbers are a useful reality check. 2/3 say uncertainty is higher than 3 years ago. Only 13% rate themselves excellent at data-driven operational decision-making. Only 11% say they are highly integrated across customers, carriers, partners, and regulatory systems. And only 2% report AI adoption across the entire operation. That is the gap AI has to close. Logistics companies do not need another dashboard that sits beside the work. They need integrated data, exception workflows, automation skills, and decision support that moves through customer, carrier, partner, and regulatory systems. Put the pattern together and the playbook is clear. If you are leading AI adoption, stop asking only what model should we use. Ask what channel will carry the work, what data must be integrated, what physical constraints limit scale, what governance sits around the agent who owns the rollout, what training changes behavior, and what metrics prove value. The takeaway: AI advantage is becoming an implementation discipline. Models matter, but the winners will build the operating system around them: deployment channels, physical capacity, integration, security, training, and measurable outcomes.